Hello, everyone. I don't know why, but every time I hit record, my camera like zooms way in. Anyway, my name's Andy. For those of you that don't know, this is my weight loss channel, and I'm laying in bed watching Austin Powers and just decided to do a little video about my number one question that I keep getting asked is what do I eat? Or what is a typical day of food for you? For starters, that's a stupid question. People always say there's no such thing as a stupid question. There is. Nobody eats the same thing every single day. That's boring. And contrary to popular belief, when you eat a keto diet or low carb, healthy fats, there's tons of different foods to eat. So, why would you want to limit yourself to the same thing every day? That said, I do have a staple list of foods that I have found that I'm just consuming in different ways all the time. So typically I don't eat breakfast unless I'm really hungry when I wake up. I usually eat, if I have to work in the morning, I'm a chef for those of you that don't know, or cook, whatever. If I work in the morning, I don't eat until I get home. So I won't eat until about lunchtime. And then I'll have lunch and I'll have dinner, and that's usually about it. When you get fat adapted, or after your body has adjusted to a lower carb diet and no sugars, you're just not as hungry anymore. I mean, your body is literally surviving on all this, fat that you've got in your body. So the brown stored fat is what your body kind of uses as a source of what's what I'm looking for, sustenance, to get energy from. So yeah, you're less hungry. It's still hard for myself to wrap my mind around, not eating 3 times a day. And especially my husband, like, he'll say to me, "What have you had to eat today?" And I'm like, "Oh, I had a cheese stick and some beef jerky." Like, but that's enough for me. I'm not hungry. And if I'm hungry, I eat. Like, I'm not starving myself in any way, shape, or form. If I'm hungry, I'm eating. And there's days when I just eat and eat and eat and eat because I just can't stop the hunger. I mean, that's probably not the best thing to do, but look, everybody has those days. And what I'm gorging on isn't bad, so to speak. It's like literally cheese and celery and beef jerky, lots of protein, lots of healthy fat, stuff that's not necessarily super high in calories. But yeah, so, handfuls of nuts here and there and stuff like that. Anyway, so like I said, a typical day, I don't normally eat breakfast. If I do eat breakfast, I have eggs and bacon or eggs and smoked salmon, sometimes just scrambled eggs. I have tried making keto pancakes, which I made with coconut flour. They were okay. I wasn't a huge fan of the consistency and the texture of the coconut flour. It's just something you've got to kind of get used to, I guess. And it's one of those things that, like, when you first have it, if you don't like it, you're kind of like, oh, I don't really want to try it again. But try it again, and it's not as bad the second time around. What else have I made? I haven't really tried to make any muffins or anything. Oh, I have done the 90-second keto bread. It's literally 1 egg. I think it's like 1 tablespoon of butter or oil and a quarter of a cup of coconut or almond flour. And you just mix it in a mug or any microwave safe dish. And then you microwave it for 90 seconds and it rises. Oh, sorry, and a teaspoon of baking soda. But yeah, so you mix it all together and you microwave it and makes like the mug that I use, it looks like a little mini English muffin. So that's kind of cool. Again, the texture and consistency of the coconut flour I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm getting used to it, and it is a lot better when you toast it with a bit of butter and a tiny scrape of Vegemite. It's really similar to an English muffin. It's really nice for those days that you're really missing bread. If you're doing strict keto, Vegemite is not on your list. It's not keto friendly, but I don't do strict keto. So it's totally fine for me. And I have a little bit here and there. It's been months since I've had Vegemite. I might have to make some of that in the morning before I go to work. But yeah, breakfast is normally either, if I don't have eggs with some kind of other protein like meat or some cheese, sometimes I'll do like a little bit of salsa and have huevos rancheros. I do want to try one that I found where you take eggs and very thinly, like you beat them together and you very thinly lay them in the pan, kind of like a crepe, but it's just egg. You cook it off and then you use that like a wrap to wrap up all your ingredients in. So that's something else I'd like to try. Like I said, this video is just kind of about food and what I eat and some recipes and stuff like that I want to try and everything. I always get asked, like, what do you typically eat? My answer to that now is celery, zucchini, asparagus, chicken, steak. We do eat a lot of salmon and like fresh salmon, tin salmon, tin tuna. I eat, not Matt. Matt's meat and potatoes. Everybody knows that. What else do I buy? Beef jerky I get from the Reedy Creek Butcher at 1 Mile here in Ipswich. They're really, really good. And it's really nice beef jerky. A lot of the stuff that you get from the shops, it has a lot of sugar in it and it's very soft. To me, it's not a really nice beef jerky. And you get such a small amount. Like, it is expensive, but it's so worth it. And it's really nice to have something to chew on. Like, it takes you a little while to eat it as well when it's proper tough beef jerky. So, it kind of fills you up and it takes you a bit longer to eat it. So you're not just gorging on these little, like, chewy morsels of soft beef jerky that you get from the supermarkets. What else do I usually get? Sour cream, butter, eggs, dark chocolate and nuts, and the sugar-free marshmallows. You've got to make sure that they are fully sugar-free though. There's ones that you can get from the chemist, the Sugarless brand. They're not sugar-free, I don't think. They've still got some artificial something or other in there, or a different kind of sugar. But you can get ones from Woolies, which is Double D brand, I believe. And that's what I make my Rocky Road with. That is like my go-to dessert. Dark chocolate, a little bit of coconut oil, nuts. You can either toast your nuts first in the oven, like roast them off with salt, and then mix them with your dark chocolate. You can put peanut butter in it, coconut, mint. I made a mint fudge for Christmas. That was good. I need to make that again too. But yeah, basically that is my go-to snack. And I cut it up into squares when I make it. So basically you melt the chocolate and peanut butter or whatever ingredients into the microwave for 30 seconds or a minute, just so the chocolate's just melted. Mix it all together. Mix it in a bowl with your nuts and marshmallows. I usually either cut in half. If I'm super lazy, I should chuck it all in a bowl. And I think eating healthy doesn't have to be like meal prepping and, taking literally hours out of your day to get stuff ready. Like, find meals and foods that fit into your life. I would love to start a business or a company or a YouTube channel or something called The Lazy Chef. Like, I'm one of the laziest cooks around. If I can cut corners, I'm going to do it. And I'm not afraid to admit that. I worked at Bundamba Takeaway and my boss there, he wanted me to make hollandaise sauce for a function. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. Won't take me long. I mean, I went to culinary school, so I know properly you have to use clarified butter and you have to clarify the butter, which is, bringing it to a simmer and separating the milk solids and everything. Anyway, it's a whole fuck around. Like, yes, it makes a lovely food and it tastes really great, but you can seriously microwave butter and an egg yolk and whisk it together really quick and add some lemon and salt and pepper. It tastes exactly the same. There is a fine line between scrambled eggs and microwaved butter with an egg yolk, but a little bit of practice and you can do it. So lazy hollandaise sauce there, super easy to make. That's what I put on my salmon in the mornings. I'm not going to clarify butter to make hollandaise sauce. Sorry, culinary teachers, but I'm lazy. And I admit that. I own that. But yeah, off track. I always do that. Anyone that knows me, totally run on tangents constantly. But yeah, so green veggies all the time, broccoli, cauliflower. You do, if you're counting carbs, you need to watch those because those vegetables do still contain carbohydrates. Quite a lot of vegetables actually still contain carbohydrates, which I don't think a lot of people realize. They think, oh yeah, it's a green veggie, I can just go to town on it. If you're trying to stay under 20 carbs a day, yeah, just watch what you're eating. And it does help. Like at first, I counted carbs and I watched everything I was eating and I used to put it all into MyFitnessPal app and track every calorie, every bite, everything. But like I said, I'm lazy. I don't like doing stuff like that. If it's a chore and it's too tedious and it takes too long and it's too much effort and work, I find it a lot harder to stick to. So for me, I know that I can have like four, when you get your big head of broccoli or cauliflower and you break off the florets, I can have like four of those, like four cauliflower and four broccoli, and that's still within my carbs. Like it's still a lesser amount, less enough. What's the word I'm trying to say? A little enough amount that that's not going to completely screw up my eating for the day. But yeah, so you will learn like what you can and can't have and what fits within your daily diet, so to speak. Like I know that if I've had a breakfast that's just eggs and bacon or eggs and salmon, like salmon, the smoked salmon that I get, it's quite high in calories. So I know that if I've had that, I'll try and have just some celery for a snack or something, not anything else that I know is high in calories. So people say to me all the time, like, oh, do you count your macros? Do you do this and that? No, I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. And it's too confusing. Like they say, you've got to have your body fat percentage. Well, I've never had that calculated, so I can't technically calculate my macros correctly to do that, can I? So, anyway, I think a lot of people cut themselves short and make it too hard, and that's why I mean, I've done heaps of different diets and I haven't stuck to them because you've got to count points on Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig, you've got to watch everything. And I did light and easy and the food was nice and it tasted good, but it was all carbs and you just get tired of having the same thing. Like I said in the beginning of the video, there's so many different foods out there. Why would you eat the same thing all the time? Like I have a couple go-to meals, hamburgers with I do Swiss cheese and mushroom, so like Swiss mushroom burgers on my lettuce with sriracha and mayo, onion, a little bit of red onion, so good. One of my favorites. Tacos, definitely my favorite. I've recently discovered that I obviously can't take a quesadilla or a tortilla and melt my cheese on it. So Matt and I have started mixing the cheese through the meat so it melts. So I still get that cheesy, melty goodness in my lettuce wrap with my sour cream and guacamole that I make and stuff. So, there are things all the time that I do kind of feel like I have all the time, but there's tons of other meals out there that you can look up. I'm still on a lot of the keto groups and the low carb, healthy fat groups and stuff like that because people post stuff all the time and I think, oh, I never thought to do that. Like a lady took sausage meat the other day and put it into a muffin tin, like very thinly pushed it around the muffin tin. Excuse me. And she scrambled some eggs and poured it in there and put like little toppings in and stuff and then baked it in the oven. And it was like this little mini meaty, like a quiche with no crumb bottom muffin breakfast amazingness. I just wanted to eat it. Looks so good. So gonna try those. But yeah, I mean, join some pages. You can find some really good recipes. I post pictures of what I eat most of the time. I don't always put up a recipe necessarily because it's literally like a protein and vegetables. If it's something that I've mixed together, like a curry, or I've done like a vegetable mince type thing with cream cheese or sour cream or something like that, I don't use a recipe. I just chuck it in a pan. So if you ever want to know anything on my Facebook that I'm posting, just ask and I can give you a rough idea of how much I used of everything. But cooking's not hard. Like, I mean, it sounds bad because I went to culinary school, and I'm sorry if any of my culinary teachers watch this, Brandon and Joe and Doreen, but cooking should be fun. Like, I mean, it was fun. That culinary school was one of the most fun times of my life. If I could go to culinary school for a job every day, I would. That was amazing. But yeah, like I said, I'm lazy and I just want to make it easy. Chuck stuff in a pan. If you like all the flavors in there, typically they're all going to taste good together. Maybe not like garlic and chocolate or something weird like that, but you never know. Chicken mole with chocolate, chili, it's good shit. Try it. Anyway, this video is getting lengthy, but yeah, so to answer the question I get asked all the time by random strangers in my inbox, which I love because I feel kind of cool knowing that somebody out there might be getting some help or hints or whatever from me and what I'm going through. Yeah, my typical go-to foods are just simple green veggies, meat, cheese. People say don't have processed cheese and stuff like that, or don't have shredded cheese because it has a anti stick together. I can't even think of the word. It's late at night. But if you're lazy keto like me, it's totally fine. If you're super strict and you're doing strict keto for whatever reason, that's fine too. Stick to it. Whatever works for you is great. I've said it before and I'll say it again. What works for one person isn't going to work for everybody. So find what works for you and stick to it. So far, I have been on the low carb, healthy fat living, not diet, but everybody says diet, but I've changed the way I eat now for almost 6 months. And I weigh in on Wednesday, which is in 2 days. It's Monday night right now in Australia. And I have currently lost 28 kilos. So that's pretty exciting. That's like 62 pounds, I think. Is that right? I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, hopefully I'll get to the 30 mark soon. So that's pretty exciting. And I'm looking forward to posting a video soon about my weigh-ins and my measurements and just kind of, yeah, give a brief overview of what's been going on and where I'm at. And I will talk to you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.